I don't know what to call it. It's something, it's a video I'm working on, and I need a time-lapse sequence to demonstrate one part of it. So I already did it. I already did the whole thing, and I wasn't happy with how it looked. So now I'm doing it again. It's probably going to take all day because that's the nature of that stuff. And I thought I would briefly talk about, the value of doing something like that, okay? Production quality. I got a comment on my why I didn't quit YouTube video. I don't know if that's the actual name. I think that's it. Anyway, I got a comment from Pat, and he said he was thinking about quitting. And because he's been basically a slave to this for, 4 years. I think he's been doing it for 4 years, and he really doesn't seem to be getting anywhere. That's what he says. And I think he has like 27,000 subscribers, and the videos that he makes are very well done. They're amazingly well done. The production quality of the videos is like crazy good. But he doesn't get the views. And production quality really doesn't matter. Not for YouTube, not for anything in actual fact. I mean, if you look at movies that did really well over history and you compare them to the latest, say, Marvel cinematic universe type movies with all these special effects and high production stuff, Marvel movies are doing amazingly well. I'm not saying that. It's just that that's not what's driving the movies, I don't think. It's the story that you have to tell. Obviously, nobody's going to be watching a Marvel movie if there's no story to what's going on. I mean, it has to have a little bit of a story, and that's one thing that they seem to have done well, is that they've not only got the production quality down and the special effects and all that stuff, even if it is all generated inside a computer, they have a story and they have characters that are relatable. So these are the factors that are more important than production quality and special effects and all that. Because you look at the original Star Wars movie in '77, and the special effects are good for the time, of course, but they're nothing compared to what they are now. The magic of that movie, the success of that movie wasn't in that. It was the characters, it was the story, it was everything else about that movie that made it compelling and watchable and something that people watch over and over again ever since it first came out. I know I've watched it maybe, 10 or 15 times at least. And the only other Star Wars movie that I watched more than that, which was actually a better movie, was the next one, The Empire Strikes Back. Way more important than production quality or anything else is audio. It has to sound good. Audio will take you halfway. I mean, you could film something on like a 10-year-old cell phone, basically, with, very low resolution. If you got good audio, then you're halfway there. People will accept it. If you have amazing video quality and crappy audio, people will rain down on you and they'll stop watching it halfway through because they simply can't listen to it. Camera shut off, my battery went dead. I had an email from Dustin, DerWooD's DIY, and he asked me basically the same thing. If he worked at it, would he be able to make enough money from doing it to, say, replace a full-time job? Is this something that you can actually live on? And yes, you can live on it, but you have to, I made another video, I think it was on my now Tips and Tricks channel, where I talked about making a living from YouTube. And like there are, I don't like to use the word luck, but luck really does play a part in how well you can do on YouTube. I don't think I've been particularly lucky in that, like, I'm not hugely successful. I've made some videos that got a lot of views, yes, but I can't, credit luck for all of that. A lot of doing this is right time, right place, right thing, okay? It's the same for everything throughout life. I mean, if you look at the Beatles, for example, this is one example I like to hold up. A lot of people disagree with me, but they were the right band at the right time, in the right place, and they became superstars because of it. It's not because they were like amazingly talented. They were, but they weren't really any better than a lot of other groups that were happening at the same time. It's just right time, right place, right thing. And YouTube is a lot like that. Just because you make a really good video on a really good subject and you work really hard at it, doesn't mean that it's gonna take off and get, 1 billion views. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes the simplest, fastest, quickest little video, like if your cat happens to be going across the room and does something funny halfway there, and you catch that on camera, that video gets 100 million views, okay? So it's things like that. It's kind of I don't know. I don't like to say luck, but luck does, or good fortune or timing does play a big part in it. The rest of it has to be with you. You have to put in the work, of course. But like I said, work doesn't guarantee success. But you also have to not be blind to what's going on. I mean, if this type of video that you're doing here is not, like, consistently not doing well, or this topic is not doing well, like if you search for a topic and you see that, like, all the videos on it or all the things covering it are not particularly popular, then chances are you're not going to be able to make it popular either. So you have to look at these things, is what I'm saying. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. And it's like everything else, okay? When I started doing this, I didn't know about all these things. I didn't know any of it. If I did, I probably wouldn't have started, because I would have been drowned in the impossibility of it all. I mean, like the chances of lightning striking, basically, is what you're counting on for a lot of this. Unless you're willing to consistently pump, grind, put your heart and soul into this. And this is something that I would not recommend a young person does. I mean, I'm older. I started this when I was, I started doing this, 9 years ago? So that would have made me 43, and, over the hump type thing, basically. So, okay, I have more time to devote to it. Also, I was fairly established with my life. I had some money. I didn't have to struggle. That's another huge thing. If you are struggling for the money, like I'll make the poker analogy. If you sit down to a poker game and you absolutely have to win because you have to pay the rent, you're not going to win. You're never going to win, okay? The chance of winning is 1 in a billion. But if you sit down just to have fun and see where you go with it, more than likely you'll get up from the table ahead, usually. That's been my experience. Not that I'm a big poker player, but this has been my experience with that kind of thing. And the same thing applies for everything else. I mean, okay, if you're desperate for a date, that's the wrong time to go ask a girl out. If you absolutely 100% need that job, you're not going to get it. Everything's like that. If you need to make money from YouTube, probably not going to. I just realized that I didn't finish talking about, being young and doing this. Like I said, I was older, 43 when I started, and I had the time to devote to it. When you're younger, if you have to spend every day of the week basically doing this, and the weekends, I'm telling you this, because this is Sunday, all right? This is Sunday morning. I got up this morning, I posted that video on the scraper thing. That probably won't do well, but I did that yesterday morning as well. Where is it? It's here. This is amazing, by the way. If you haven't watched the video, it's amazing. It really works well. My thoughts on this was to transfer the force required to do it to your palms, which makes sense. Originally, I was going to do the handle things, but I'm standing there with my hands, holding my hands. Which way do they feel the most comfortable? Do they feel comfortable like this? Not really. Your arms are twisted, okay? All right, I guess if you're riding a motorcycle. If you're riding a scraper like this, with your thumbs extended upwards like that, your fingers curled around like this. So this is my design, and it's working great. Anyway, so I got up yesterday morning. The original video that was supposed to be posted this morning was this crap here that I'm working on that I have to reshoot. And I said to myself, now you can try to get that sequence done again today. Yesterday I was talking about. And then try to rush it and then post it tomorrow morning. But why not give yourself a little bit more time and not post the video tomorrow morning? And then I got the idea for making this, and I can make this quickly. So I did. I made this yesterday morning, and then I brought it into footage, and I edited it, and I had it all done before 5:30, Saturday. So do you like working on a Saturday? Do you like working on a Sunday? Do you like working 7 days a week, basically 10, 12 hours a day, to try to maybe make a living from this? Then this kind of thing is for you. And being alone too. Okay, you can probably get somebody to help you, for free in the beginning, and that'll last maybe 2 or 3 things. But eventually you're going to wind up being by yourself, unless you're willing to pay somebody. And then if you're paying somebody, you got the additional responsibility of knowing that they're relying on you for you to pay them. So you've got to get out more content or take on more sponsors so that you'll get in enough money to pay for that person that you're now responsible for. So the pressure goes up. This is what I'm saying. When you're young, you really don't need that. The better thing to do is go out and find yourself a job. Find yourself a decent job and work your way up. And then if you get a little bit older and you decide that you want to do this kind of thing, do it if you have the time to devote to it. Otherwise, it's like it's like a dream that a lot of people have that's not really, I don't know, you can say the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. It always looks like this is a really good way to go. And the way I have it here, I have to admit, I haven't had it any better, but I had to work my ass off to get here. And I basically have to work my ass off to even try to stay here. So if that's your kind of thing, then go for it.